Hi everybody, my name is Markus, I'm an entity coach at the Academy of Poker, and today we will do a short educational video about the differences between live and online tournaments. Now before we start, I want to tell you about a new offer we have for you, and we offer you a free roll master course. So this includes 4 different lessons where I recorded some stuff to tell you about how to handle and how to beat free rolls. And also, after you have the videos, you get a small quiz to see if you know everything about it and that you remember everything you've learned. And at the end, you can also get one lesson with me or with one of our coaches at the end. And all of this is completely for free. You only have to click the link in the description below and leave a request to our managers for that you want to take part in this class. But now let's jump into today's educational video. So first of all, I will tell you a little bit about live tournaments and online tournaments and then show you in a table the differences. I will show you the pros and cons of a live tournament, the same for the online tournaments, and then give you a little tip what to choose depending on your preferences, of course. Let's jump into it. So for live tournaments, of course, it might be kind of clear for most of you, but still, I will tell you about it. So live tournaments have high buy-ins in general. When you're used to playing online poker, you know what that means. So they start mostly in bigger casinos with 200 euros or something like that. And you can play like 2 or 5 or 10 euro tournaments mostly in those ventures. Also, the field sizes are rather small, again, in comparison to online poker. And all in all, the play is way slower. When you have like 30-minute levels, you maybe get like 2 rounds, so 2 orbits. So if you're lucky, you have like 18 hands. If you're 9-handed, so you get like, about 18 hands. But some of the time it will take longer, especially if there's like some tanking involved, and then you might see one hand going 5-6 minutes. So you have more time to observe your opponents and just to do other stuff, right? For live tournaments also, which is pretty interesting, is then the live reads and the tells you give and you can observe on other people, because on online poker you don't see that. So if you see people doing this a lot or doing this, or maybe you see something in their foreskin or doing something with their mouth or their tongue, that might be some tells from them or some reads that you can pick up. Also, same goes for you. You have to watch out what you give away. So if maybe a friend tells that to you because you don't really see that you do it, that you maybe do a small gesture with your mouth or something like that, and you don't recognize this whenever you have a good or a bad hand, that might lose you a lot of chips, and then you have to be careful about that. Also, if you play a live tournament, it's mostly just this one tournament, and if you bust that out, that's it for you today. Except the WSOP, where you have multiple tournaments running throughout different casinos. In most of the venues, you don't have the chance to play 3-4 tournaments a day. Of course, nowadays you have re-entries or also for later like some rebuy tournaments, but that's not always the case, and especially if you bust out a bit later in the tournament where no re-entry is possible anymore, then you're just out and you have to go home or back to your room and wait for the next day. Talking about hotel room, in live tournaments, traveling is involved. So of course you can be lucky and live right next to a tournament venue, to a casino, but most of the time you have to go somewhere. For me, as an example, if I want to go to the King's Casino, I have like 2 hours of driving in front of me. I need to get a hotel room, and then you have some more expenses, which is not the case in online poker, because online poker, as you see, smaller buy-ins, as I talked about it. The fields, however, are way bigger. The play is definitely faster. You'll see that if you have a standard tournament with 10, 12-minute levels, you will see much more hands there. Sometimes a hand just takes 15, 20 seconds, and then you get way more hands in general. Also, instead of just one tournament, you can play many tournaments. Depending on the website or the software you're playing on, it can be up to like 24 or even more tables that you play at once, and if you bust out in one tournament, you can just play on with all the other ones, right? Also, it's playable from anywhere. There might be some country restrictions currently, like in the US. It's just a few states where you can play, but in general, you get what I mean. You just need an internet connection, and you can play from your phone, you can play from your laptop, from your tablet, from your PC at home, or when you're at a friend's house, you just need like Wi-Fi or mobile data, and you can play. Also, what is really nice, and also that's a thing where a lot of people like to play online, they win big money with a comparable small buy-in. So you pay like $10 and can win $3, $4, $5,000 depending on the tournament. And if you think about it, that's like almost 500 buy-ins, and it's exactly, it's 500 buy-ins. Sorry, so it might be something like 500 buy-ins, and if you compare that to a live tournament where you pay like 200 euros, there will not be a lot of tournaments where you then win in comparison like $100,000 or 100,000 euros. Like there might be 40, 50,000, but in comparison, you get more buy-ins as when like the payouts are in general bigger because of course bigger fields, right? Now, just again the overview what I talked about between live and online. So as you see the differences in the buy-in size, in the size of the fields, in the size or in the amount of tables you can play, how fast or slow the play is. Then what I didn't say earlier, excuse me, you don't really have live reads or tells in online poker. The only thing you might get away is like the amount of betting they do or some timing tells. So there's some people that bet always really quickly when they're bluffing. A lot of players tank extra lot to show you that they will maybe be weak, but they're pretty strong in that case. And that's like small things you can pick up from players. But this is actually, I think it's harder than having some live reads, as I said, with some gestures and so on. Then again, the traveling part versus you can play from everywhere. You don't need to travel anywhere really, except of the country restrictions, of course. And also a big thing, when you play live, you interact with other people. You have mostly then 8 people on your table plus the dealer, so another 9 people that you have to interact with. Of course, you don't have to. You can put in your headphones, put on your hoodie, and put on sunglasses, and guard yourself or protect yourself from any influence from the others. But also, what you can do if you like to do it and you enjoy it, you can talk to them. You can have some fun at the tables, and then it's a whole other experience. Online, you're always on your own. The only thing you might have going is that you maybe are in a chat with some friends that are also playing. You talk to them maybe via Skype or Discord or whatever. But all in all, you sit there on your own and play your own game. Now we switch to the pros and cons of live tournaments, and you probably have seen already a bit of what I'm going to say here, but I'll go through the list now anyway. So, what is one of the big advantages of live tournament? You get a pretty nice experience from playing there. So on one side, you learn how to you can be better at reading people and protecting your own tells, but also the whole thing, like being at a casino. If you have ever been to Monte Carlo, if you were in the King's Casino or anywhere else in the world, really, their casinos are just a huge thing. So also, there's so many people that gather there to play poker, to have fun, to gamble, and that's just a big experience. And you should not go through there with your eyes closed, but at least try to get a breathe out of that and just enjoy the stuff. And I think that's pretty nice, also in comparison to staying home and always just have your 1, 2, 3 monitors in front of you and work like a robot. Meeting new players is also a pretty nice thing. So especially if they're better players, you can get some advice of them, or you can maybe get a new view on hands you have played. So my last experience on that was when I was at the King's Casino again. I met new people over a friend that knew him already, and then we also talked about some hands. They were pretty good players, And I told them about some hands, how I played them, and they gave me advice on how to change my play maybe, or they said, yeah, the view is really nice, but because I didn't have any opinion from anybody else, I wasn't sure if my play was good or not. So in that way, you can even become a better player, and yeah, surround yourself with good players from whom you can be taught something, or even you can teach them something. Next thing, the glory and the publicity. So whenever you win a big tournament, at least in the small poker bubble, people will get to know you. So they see, especially if you played something in the WSOP or show, if you won something, people will know you. So I, for example, because I'm German, I follow like a lot of the German players, and if some of them win something, you already know, like Hossein Ensar, he won the main event now. Everybody knows him in the poker world, but I've known him earlier. He won an EPT already. He won some high rollers, and he's been a really nice person all in all. So you get you get some glory and some publicity. Maybe you can even get a sponsoring from some poker site because they like the way you play, they like the way you show yourself to people, how you interact with people. But maybe just do some interviews or have people, especially for me, like if I'm coaching, people get to know me and they want to get coached by me. So that's always nice because then you can give your knowledge to other people. Also, especially if you play like some big series, again, King's Casino has really nice tournament series. You have pretty nice payouts. If you do like some home games, maybe, of course, you can always only play with 1 or 2 tables or so. But there you have a few hundred, maybe 1,000, or even a few thousand entries there, and you win a big amount of money. Of course, again, the buy-in is higher. So if you pay like 200 euros and you win like 40,000, you just like the buy-in was bigger, and then you have to win this tournament. Of course, if you don't make the money, you lose 200 euros. If you do it online, you lose like 2 euros, but you can only win like 1,000 or so, which is still pretty nice, but just the amount of money is bigger all in all. And last but not least, this is kind of linked to the experience, the atmosphere there. As I said, there might be people who talk a lot or do pretty crazy plays, and there's been a lot of shit talking and chit chatting about and this and stuff. And you see some bad beats, and you're yelling from other tables where there's a big bad beat or just a sick cooler and whatever. So this is really interesting, and it's really nice to soak that in. On the negative side, on the cons, as I already also talked about this, so you have the traveling expenses. So if you stay there longer, you have to pay for gas or for tickets for flying, for the train and stuff, hotel costs, and maybe even groceries if you just stay in an apartment that is a bit away from the casino, for example. Also, you do need a big bankroll for that, or at least have some backers or sell a lot of shares. Backers are people who give you money to play the tournaments, and then you agree on a cut, like a 50-50 cut or 60-40. But if you play everything on your own, it's really hard from the money you earn online, because I said like the payouts are big, but there's a lot of variance in there as well. So, for example, if you play 200 euro tournaments on a regular basis, you would need to have at least like 40,000 euros for that, to do that every week. And it's really hard if you play mid-stakes online to be able to have that behind and not use it as the bankroll you play with online, right? So there you have to see if you then sell more than you do online normally, or if you can make it through satellites and so on. Also, like one big question, what do you do when you bust? So if there's no other tournament to register, or if you're not a cash game player, then you really can't do anything in a casino anymore. It's only about like going back to your room or driving home when it's only a one-day trip. And that's like always a thing. You're down, you feel demotivated to do anything, and you don't want to risk any more money because you're not a good cash game player. There's not another tournament, but you also don't want to gamble because like going for roulette or blackjack is always not a good idea in most of the cases. So yeah, that's a bit annoying then. Also, what is possible that you do a long grind without making the money? I have a friend. The last time I think he yeah, we played day ones. I made it on my second bullet. I made it into day two, and I think he played day one on different day ones 5 times, and always came into the second last or last level. Played for 11, 12 hours, but still busted. And even if you make day two, you're still not in the money. So they needed to be like another 10% to bust before you make the money. So you have like a 15, 14-hour grind in total before you make the min cash. And yeah, a lot of times you will, because only like the top 10% make the money, so you will grind a lot, and as I said, you grind for 10, 11, 12 hours and still not make the money. So that's also pretty hard for you, because in online you will never play a tournament where you have to play for 12 hours and you're still not in the money. Maybe just the W Coupe main event or so, when they get into the money late in day two. But that's about it. That's maybe the only tournament where you're not going to be in the money directly after 5-6 hours latest. And also, as I already said, from the atmosphere as a pro, but it can also be a negative thing. So you have weird plays from players, and you have noisy neighbors, and they distract you. They talk during every hand you play. They ask you stupid questions, or make you feel kind of uncomfortable in some way, or feel like they're the best in the world and want to berate you on plays you did. And yeah, then maybe it's a good thing to have some headphones and yeah, put them on, ignore them. About the online tournaments. So we talked about live. Let's now get to the online part. So good thing, you can use your software. That makes everything easier for you. You have the stats of your opponents. If you have a lot of hands on them, you know what they do mostly, and it's easier to play. You can do a lot of things by default, and you don't really have to think a lot, which helps you for playing a lot of tables. You can concentrate fully on your game. As I said, there are no players that distract you, that talk to you, or want to talk to you and annoy you in some way. You can maybe put some music on, and again, put your headphones on and focus on the monitors where the play is coming up. You can play many tournaments simultaneously. And again, you bust one tournament, don't worry, you have 15 other tournaments to go. So there you always have something coming up, and your session just ends when you decide to not register any tournaments anymore. You have again also big prize pools and big payouts in comparison to the buy-in you pay. So as I said again earlier, like the amount is bigger in live tournaments mostly, but in comparison the buy-in is just so low online. So again, you play a $2, $5, maybe a $10 tournament, and you can get high 3-digit numbers or even medium or high 4-digit numbers. And that's pretty nice. And also you can have a comfortable setup. So maybe if the venue is not the best, you might sit in chairs that are not so comfortable, or maybe if there are too many people, you have to play 10-handed, for example, and then the room you have to sit is getting really tight. And me, I'm a big guy, for example. For me, it's then really annoying to sit there the whole time. And if you do it at home, if you play online, you can either just sit on your couch, getting cozy, I don't know, have even your girlfriend sitting next to you, or you're just under a blanket and stuff and play a little bit on the laptop, or you can get a good chair. Like I have a nice gaming chair at home that I can sit on that is like perfectly fit for me, and I can just stand up sometimes if I want to take a quick break and so on. So that's pretty nice. And also it's fast. As I said, mostly, especially if you play hypers and turbos, you're gonna be in the money pretty fast. And all in all, like if you maybe saw my last session I streamed, I played for 15 hours, but I played roughly 100 tournaments in that time. So all in all, it was pretty fast. And as I said, now from the live tournament, after 15 hours, I might not even be in the money in the live tournament I play. So that's pretty nice. On the other side, the negative things again here, there's a pretty high variance, of course. So you play a lot of tournaments, but they have a pretty high average field size as well. So you will lose a lot of hands where you are complete favorite, and you're gonna lose big pots there a lot of times. Also people that make bad plays but still get there on the turn on the river versus you. And yeah, even though you might be ahead a lot of times, you will not get there. You need a good internet connection also. when I still, when I lived at my parents' house and started playing poker, we didn't have a good internet connection really. So a lot of times, you ran deep or you had aces in a spot and suddenly the connection broke. And that shouldn't happen too often for you, because that's going to lose you money, and you better pay maybe, I don't know, 50% more than you're currently paying for an internet connection and go to another operator on that, but they can guarantee you a safe connection and a fast connection as well. So, I mean, it's up to you, but that would be a pretty important thing. Again, also then here, it's kind of exhausting for the mind to focus on many tables. So as I said, when I play, I have my mostly like 16 tables, sometimes 20, depending on the stage of the field, or if I deep run somewhere already, then I may maybe cut it down to even less. But it's really hard because you have to click a lot, and of course you do not have that much time, so you have like a few seconds to make your choice in every hand. And if you then have maybe 3-4 interesting spots that are a bit difficult, you have to focus on all of them at once, and maybe even think about the second one while you're still in the first one. So there's a lot of thinking in there, and even though it's not really hard for your body, but your mind is, it's a lot for your mind. And if you then do a long session, you will feel that the days after if you're not trained to do it. Then also the payouts are pretty much top heavy a lot of times. When you play bounty builders, for example, and you min cash, you don't even cash as much as the buy-in was, for example. Same goes for if you play some normal freeze out, the payouts getting bigger. And if you want, we'll put up a review of my Big 11 chip. I won that on stream last week, and I think I got 60% more than second place. So there's just this big jump. And in live tournaments, it's a bit more evened out. So also the min cashes are bigger, and it's just a bit easier to make bigger money in the early stages of the ITM zone. So as you see, like small payouts will not make you enough money for profitable sessions a lot of times. It's going to take more deep runs, and if you find tables, probably if you play a lot of tournaments to make the money then. And last but not least, we're just still gonna have some weird plays, and maybe even some people who BM that's bad mannering. So they insult you, they write some stuff. You have seen it all, Joker stars and whatnot. They blame the software, then they blame you for playing like that, and it's gonna happen. It's annoying. At least you can block the chat, which is nice, so you don't have to see that. But at least I wanted to put on the list. And finally, choose yours. So think about what gives you more joy, more enjoyment. So do you like to have some nice talks and an open-minded round of players maybe while playing, and maybe make some money at the end? Or do you like constant action on tables, using your data you have to make the best plays and make the most plus EV plays to, in the end, make the most profit? Of course, that's also a thing about a difference then between being a pro and being a fun player or a recreational player, because again, they don't play 10, 15 tables at once, and they really like to do some chatting or to talk to people, especially in live tournaments then. So you have to see what you like. If you want to do a mix of it, again, you can. If you still like to go for live tournaments, but you're not a big chatter, you like to listen to some music or podcasts and just play your game, that's also okay. But I think that just like gives you an idea on what is more feasible for you to choose. Before we end this, also a quick reminder now for the one course we have. Normally it will cost you 300 euros. You see here the listing. We're gonna give you some online lessons. We will give you pre-flop charts and 2 personal trainings with me. And our course is free for you. So that's the one where you have 4 group courses and the pre-flop charts plus 2 personal trainings. And just hit the link in the description below for that. Or if you're a complete beginner, I suggest you to go for our free roll master course. That one is also in the description below. Just hit the link, leave a request to one of our managers, and then you can become a master of free rolls, and it's also for free. So that's the spirit of the free rolls. You don't have to pay anything for it. You even get one individual course with me or with one of our other coaches to then be able to beat free rolls and to make some money without even investing it. And yeah, if you are a bit more in the game already, then I should suggest you to go for the other course. And here again, we made it possible that this one is also for free. Because you're going to play on the poker side, you're going to generate rake, and with that rake, the room will be able to pay us for your education. Again, just hit the link in the description below, get in contact with one of our managers, and depends on what kind of course you want to take, you can just go for it. And yeah, that's already it then for today's lesson. I hope you learned some stuff, and we'll see you on the next videos, guys. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and then yeah, see you on the next video. Bye.